Salim MUNAYER is the founder of Musahala, which means reconciliation in Arabic. And you've got the floor for 7.5 minutes, or if you can be a bit less, it would be good. But now we have back to interpretation, which is now working, so you can choose French or English. Vous devriez maintenant pouvoir choisir dans le canal interprétation entre le français et l'anglais. Voilà, nous allons maintenant passer à Salim. Salim, you've got the floor for 7.5 minutes maximum, please.
Good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much. I would like to, and also I have been asked to tell you about our experience of 30 years of endeavoring reconciliation between Israeli and Palestinian. Musalaha is an organization that have both Israeli and Palestinian, and it's faith-based. What I would like to highlight are 3 points in the time that I have. First of all, I do agree with Rabbi Melchior that the politician and first layer diplomacy have failed to promote and to bring peace for us and for the people of the land. That's something need to be acknowledged. Second, we have to be real and understanding, as Naveen have described before us, some of the difficulties on the ground, especially for Palestinian. So we are at Musalaha, after quite a bit of study, we define our conflict as intractable conflict between two communities, where the whole aspect of our society is involved in the conflict. Not only that, our conflict that relate to our ideological, political identity. Do I speak too fast?
No, it's
or
okay.
It's okay.
Is it okay, Jacques, for the translation? Ça va? Yes. No, it's a simultaneous. Huh? It's back to normal.
Okay, good, excellent. Thank you very much. So we have a process of dehumanization and demonization of the people in the conflict that we need to address. Not only that, it is in the conflict with time that religious political ideology become the language of the people, and the clash between them become more stronger and prevailing. If you had a conflict on water and land, with time it changed. But not only that our conflict is very difficult and intractable, that is very important. What we know from empirical research and other places around the world, that without grassroots movement will not be change on the ground. And Rabbi Melchior gave us the proof to that in his speech. It doesn't work. 80% of peace around the world start by grassroots movement, putting pressure with middle level on the top layers diplomacy to come to the solution. The good news about that is that you don't need all the people in the land to be involved in peace. If they're actually involved in promoting peace, we can bring changes. We see that happening in Sudan. We saw it in Argentina. We saw it in many places around the world. And I would like to add one thing is very important. A critical component of grassroots movement is women involved in peacemaking. They are essential. And women are the first to be casualty of the conflict, and women are the one to bring peace. And this is the reason I would like to see more women here speaking and involved in peacemaking. The other important aspect that we have, and it is really reality on the ground, especially in our conflict, is the imbalance of power between the Israeli and the Palestinian. From its beginning of the conflict, from the Balfour Declaration by Britain, and until Trump, the powerful empire have put it itself very clearly in one side of the conflict. Not only that, the international community is involved in the conflict, was involved in the conflict, and still is involved in the conflict. And if there is imbalance of power, the people that they have the position and privilege will not let go of their position and privilege without a struggle. And if the weak will use violence, that will be used by the powerful to say, we are defending ourselves. So the grassroots movement, non-violent movement, and other means, it is one of the most important, not the only, one of the most important that we have here. And as we are living in this country, and as we have been taught from childhood to wait for older politician men that they are so wise to solve our problem, they are not. Because each one of those frameworks of power come to serve interest of people. So I am calling for grassroots movement, many organizations among Israeli and Palestinian. We need to take our destiny in our hand. We need to be players in changing the situation. We need to think about the future of our children and not to allow our children to buy a narrative is the hero is the one that holds the power of the gun. The hero is a peacemaker. Blessed are the peacemaker are very important. So how we are going to deal with these components of imbalance of power? And as a result, I would like to say that in Musalaha, we found that there are 6 stages of reconciliation. And we need to understand that we need patience and we need to work together in order to go through those stages, and the staging of developing a joint historical narrative where we are in our narrative a blessing to others and not to have the others as servant of us. And the last things that I would like to say is to the international community. International community all around the world, we're dealing with failure of political system. We're dealing with huge gap between people. We're dealing with racism and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I'm calling upon the international young people, peacemakers all around the world. You can make a difference. Let's work together. Let's learn from each other, because the destiny and of the world to a certain degree depends on those that pursue peace.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution, Salim.